to hear what was never meant to be spoken aloud? This is not a tale told in books. It's a current that moves beneath the surface of recorded time. Welcome to the Voice of Unknown. Long before the rise of modern empires, before the secrets of atoms were split or the code of the human genome was cracked, there was a king. Not just any king, a man who conquered through violence, but was conquered by truth. His name was Ashoka, the 3rd century BCE, the Indian subcontinent. The Mauryan Empire stretches far and wide, its reach vast, its power uncontested, and at its heart stands Emperor Ashoka, a fierce warrior, a ruthless tactician, a man willing to sacrifice tens of thousands for glory. But then, something happened. After the brutal conquest of Kalinga, a war so devastating it drowned the land in blood, Ashoka stood upon the battlefield. And there, amidst the corpses of men, women, and children, something within him broke. He heard the silence of death, and in that silence, he heard something else, a whisper, a voice, a calling. That moment changed him. Ashoka renounced violence. He turned inward. He embraced the teachings of Dharma, the path of compassion, of wisdom. But more than that, he became obsessed with something even deeper, the power behind knowledge. And that is where our real story begins. For in the shadows of his palace, Ashoka created something unimaginable. A secret society, a council of 9 men, 9 scholars, 9 sages, 9 keepers of forbidden knowledge, each one entrusted with one domain, each one a guardian of truths so powerful they could change the fate of humanity if misused. This was the beginning of the 9 unknown men. The records are scarce. Historians dismiss them as legends, but the whispers persist. According to ancient lore, Ashoka feared that humanity was not yet ready for the deepest truths. He believed that certain types of knowledge, if unleashed, would bring only destruction. So instead of destroying that knowledge, he hid it. He protected it. He tasked 9 chosen men with guarding it forever, passing it down through generations, silently, invisibly. Each man was assigned one of the 9 forbidden sciences, 1 propaganda and psychological warfare, 2 physiology and the science of death, 3 microbiology and biological weapons, 4 alchemy and transmutation, 5 communication with extraterrestrial life, 6 gravity and anti-gravity devices, 7 cosmology and the structure of the universe, 8 light, control, speed, and its mystical applications, 9 sociology, blueprint for societal control. Does that sound like science fiction? It might. But history has a strange way of hiding truths in the veil of myth. And when you trace the echoes of these 9 sciences, you find strange footprints. Footprints that lead not only through India, but through Europe, the Middle East, even America. And somewhere, in a forgotten corner of the world, a man named Elias followed those very footsteps. He had no map, only dreams, and a hunger to know. In the weeks that followed, Elias found himself caught between 2 worlds. By day, he walked among people, smiling, conversing, acting normal. By night, he was elsewhere. Not in a dream, not in reality, but somewhere in between. He stood before a massive circular gate, 9 pillars surrounding it, each etched with a language he couldn't read, yet somehow understood. A language that hummed, vibrated, as if alive. And then came the vision. A masked figure, neither man nor woman, approached him. Their voice echoed through the chamber. Knowledge without discipline is destruction. You seek the light, but are you ready for its weight? Then suddenly, Elias was falling, through time, through memories that weren't his, through empires and ashes, through books burned before they were ever written. And when he woke up, he remembered one name, Ashoka. It was then that Elias started researching, and the more he read, the more the pieces started to align. Ashoka, the 9, the forbidden sciences, but most of all, their influence. He discovered whispers, rumors that men like Tesla, Einstein, and even Oppenheimer may have come into contact with the books of the 9. In fact, a peculiar story stood out. It was said that during World War II, a Nazi expedition to Tibet wasn't just about spiritual conquest. It was an attempt to find the guardians of ancient knowledge, the secret libraries, the Book of Death, the Book of Light. Another clue emerged from the 1960s, when a classified research paper by Indian intelligence mentioned an untraceable group that could rewrite the structure of nations through non-violent psychological interference. The code name? NAU, 9 autonomous units. Too strange to ignore, too consistent to dismiss. And Elias felt it, not just as curiosity, but as a calling. In the weeks that followed, Elias gave up everything: his job, his social life, even sleep. He traveled, first to Varanasi, then to Nalanda, then to the ruins near Ujjain, places where time seemed thinner, where history had left cracks. In the stone of an ancient observatory, he found a symbol, the sign of Mercury, messenger of gods, guardian of transformation. And beneath it, a phrase etched in Sanskrit: "He who sees the light in darkness shall guard the darkness within the light." Suddenly it made sense. The 9 weren't just keepers of external knowledge. They were mirrors, reflecting what humanity wasn't ready to face. what he wasn't ready to face. Not yet. But the veil was thinning. Elias began to sense a presence. Something, or someone, watching. The same masked figure from his visions began to appear even in waking moments, at train stations, behind reflections, in the whispers of wind, and always the same question: will you open the ninth gate? There comes a point in every seeker's path when the questions no longer point outward, but inward. Elias had reached that point. He wasn't chasing answers anymore. He was chasing alignment, not what the nine knew, but why they chose silence. And the answer was waiting. One evening, in the high hills near Ladakh, Elias came upon a circle of stones, 9 stones, each marked with a symbol: earth, fire, air, water, Mercury, sun, moon, Saturn, and finally, the eye. He stepped into the center. Time vanished. He was no longer Elias. He was every man who had ever sought truth. He was the monk in Tibet, the alchemist in Prague, the thinker in Alexandria. He was the 9th unknown. And the voice returned, not from outside, but from within. You were never meant to find the 9. You were meant to become the 10th. The final truth wasn't hidden in books. It was hidden in plain sight, in our ability to observe, to question, to evolve. Each of the 9 domains wasn't a danger. It was a test, a mirror to reveal our intentions. Could you master mind control without becoming a tyrant? Could you touch biological power without playing God? Could you alter gravity without becoming ungrounded? Could you study death and still choose life? And the 9th gate, the 9th book, it was never written on paper. It was written in consciousness. The mastery of self, the governance of the inner empire, the silent science of awakening. Elias returned, but not as the same man. He had no books in his hand, no footage, no proof, only his eyes, and in them something had changed. When asked what he found, he simply said, "The 9 never disappeared. They just moved inside us." So now I ask you, not as a storyteller, but as a mirror, are you ready to become the 10th? The one who sees without needing eyes, who hears without noise, and leads without followers. The knowledge still exists, not in temples, not in labs, but in the silence between thoughts. And if you're quiet enough, still enough, empty enough, you may hear it too. The whisper of the 9, the voice of unknown.